show you what I'm made of. Get a load of this.
Yo, come here. Bitch, come here. Sight. Alright, I'm putting her to rest. Say goodbye, bitch. Oh my. Go. Oh, shit. No. Oh my. Mucking around. Shut up. Yo, what's good, y'all? D.O.D back with another dose on the channel. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. As you see, I'm outside. Camera's looking good. Skin's looking great. I'm glowing. It's nice outside. But we have a video to watch here. Typical reacts. Y'all know how I would do around here. Well, recently how we've been doing around here. We got a lot of reacts to be doing. I got a whole folder, and if y'all got some reacts to suggest, drop them in the comments because we will definitely check them out. And also, if you want me to make this folder a public folder, I'll do that, and you can put reacts in there for me to watch, and I'll definitely check them out as well. But today's video is Marvel's Avengers versus Gotham Knights versus Kill the Justice League. Which is the best? Your boy has played all three of these games. The reason why I'm laughing, voice crack, the reason why I'm laughing is because I played Marvel Avengers. I got that game early, 3 days early. Spent $100 on it. Oof. Right? 100. Oof. And that game was, excuse me, burping. That game was okay. It wasn't the best, but it was okay. I enjoyed it. Then we have Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights was good too. I also got that 3 days early. Oh my god, I wasted money. Okay, then the last one is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and I did also get that 3 days early. Y'all remember long time ago your boy was heavy on Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and I realized that game is not what I wanted it to be, but it still has a place in my heart. And I'm going to say that this one, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, is the best out of all three of them. For me, because I enjoyed that game the most out of all three of them. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. And also, we are on Twitch. And if you want to come by on Twitch, sorry, we are on Twitch. And if you want to come by on Twitch, make sure you check your boy out, Dose of Diallo. That's the Twitch. Follow the link in the description. Also, the link is in the bio as well.
Years, there's been a trend of looter shooter light RPG superhero games, which have been almost universally hated and mocked for their dull gameplay, shady monetization, to cringy and outright offensive stories. But this video won't be about taking these games apart. Now,
okay, I'm smiling because they're talking about offensive stories. I do not think them killing Batman was that bad in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I think a lot of people are overlooking that and making that seem like, oh, that's the reason why the game failed. The game failed because the studio wasn't trying to do those extra steps to make the game better, where I could have believed that this game could have been what they wanted it to be. We could have had Aquaman as a person to fight. We could have had fucking, who else? I'm trying to think of other superheroes. Zatanna, because her flag is in the back. You could have had, I mean, like, this is a part of the Arkham universe. I'm like, that's why I'm like, more upset about this game than like I really I'm more upset about this game than the average person. This is the Arkham universe, and they dropped the ball for real on this. They did.
That has been 2 years since the release of Kill the Justice League. I wanted to look back on these games that I do enjoy parts of and put them against each other to see which is the best of the worst. The games that I'll be competing in this video are Marvel's Avengers, Gotham Knights, and of course Kill the Justice League. How this will work is we'll go through several categories, and whichever is the overall best will get 2 points, and then second place will get 1.
Like, look at the gameplay. The gameplay's fire for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Look at this shit. Marvel's Avengers looks titty.
With that being said, let's look at the story.
Honestly.
Marvel's Avengers is one of the strongest parts. The game begins during this massive Avengers celebration.
I was trying to reach for my drink already.
Where they are unveiling a new clean power source known as Terrigen. But after a terror attack, the Terrigen reactor explodes, destroying the helicarrier and seemingly killing Captain America, and causing superpowers to awaken in thousands of normal people. After the events of A-Day, the Avengers disband, and all their assets are bought out by AIM, an anti-superpower company promising a cure to all the people infected that day. But in reality, they are using what they call inhuman.
The story in Marvel Avengers is good, but they dropped the ball as well. Because if you're telling me all these superpowered people are now having dormant powers, waking up, blah, 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 you could have made these random-ass people villains. For real, for real. Could have had different bosses to fight. All we did was fight fucking robots.
Great ability to all the Adaptoid weapons. So it's up to Kamala Khan, an Avengers superfan who was there on A-Day, to find the Avengers and bring them back together to help save her people from the tyranny of AIM. There's actually very few generic multiplayer missions mixed into the campaign. Most of it is unique, and when it's good, it's very good.
Yeah.
What comes to mind is slowly piecing together an Iron Man suit as Tony Stark while your home is under attack, or fighting on top of the helicarrier in the rain.
Yes, that was fire.
These moments are very fun. I love seeing how each Avenger handled what happened during A-Day differently. Bruce Banner got trapped inside the Hulk, and Iron Man went into isolation, while Black Widow worked in the shadows as a spy, preparing for the day they can bring the fight back to AIM. All these moments being performed amazingly by the cast.
It was
Laura
good.
Bailey and Travis
It was
Willingham
good.
return as Black Widow and Thor from other projects. Troy Baker as Bruce Banner. Perfect casting.
Because that's the voice
and
of
freaking
Thor.
Nolan North as Iron Man. Also perfect casting. Jeff Shine voices Captain America, who you may know as Chris Redfield in Resident Evil Village, which is really funny because Roger Craig Smith also voiced Captain America.
Come on, come on, come on!
Also, the secondary villain, Monica Rappaccini, is voiced by our very own Ada Wong, Jolene Anderson.
Ada Wong.
Gotham Knights is unique out of the three because it's primarily a
Gotham Knights
game,
was
but falls a little
unique,
short
but
in a few
yeah.
aspects. The story begins with Batman's death at the hands
Yes.
of Ra's al Ghul,
Yes.
leaving Gotham in even more of a
Made a lot of people be
So
like,
it's up
oh
to Nightwing,
shit.
Batgirl, Red Hood, and Robin to come together and become Gotham's new knights.
Yeah.
Their efforts lead them down Gotham's rabbit hole of corruption, discovering that Gotham's 1% has a secret society that's been controlling the city from within its very walls.
Thought I saw
the
something
Court of
crawling, I was
Owls.
about to freak
The
out.
Court of Owls is one of my favorite storylines, and one of the first ones
Court
I
of
ever
Owls
read,
is
so it's
good.
very special to me. So it's hard for me not to get giddy at the things they directly adapt from the comics. Those parts are very good, like the Labyrinth. But certain parts of the story drag way too long, with a
Yeah.
lot of predictable twists. But all the environments are completely unique to the campaign. No reused areas between multiple levels, and it's not that long anyway, so the boring parts are usually right next to good parts. The cutscenes are different for every character, which is a nice touch, but your co-op partner doesn't appear in them at all, except for one moment they run through a door. There's not a lot of character in the main story past their basic personalities, but there's optional cutscenes you unlock throughout that fleshes them
Yeah,
and their
that's
relationships
good.
out.
Yeah,
These
it
are
fleshed
very
their
good. A lot of
relationships
Batman
out.
fans
That
talk
was
about how this
good.
game is
Now, that's what I enjoyed about Gotham Knights a lot. The fact that they like made those cutscenes made you feel like, yo, these characters actually do have a relationship. They don't just like hate each other. They aren't just like, Batman died and just fuck everybody. No, they have a reason why they hated each other at first, and then they mend the bond because Batman did die. Blah blah blah, which is a good thing. Spit right there. You seen that? If you did, you did. But if you didn't, you didn't. Nonetheless, yeah, Gotham Knights' story was good for that part. That aspect was good in that game.
But I don't personally mind. It gets who these characters are, and I know for a fact it sparked interest in them for people who didn't necessarily read the comics before. The cast here is also pretty good. Christopher Sean is perfect as Nightwing, and fun fact about him, he is in both Avengers and Kill the Justice League. He's just additional voices in Avengers, but in Kill the Justice League, he voices the Toy Man, funny enough.
Oh,
Stephen Oyoung
okay,
is Red
okay.
Hood in this. You may know him as Martin Lee in the Spider-Man game.
Oh, hold
I'm
on.
kinda
Hold on.
though. I like Red Hood sounding a little whiny and a bit immature. And in this, his voice is a little bit too deep and sexy.
Yeah.
And Michael Antonakos did fantastic.
I liked
with
his
what he
voice.
had
It
for
was a
Bruce
little
Wayne. You
deep
just
and
feel the
sexy.
love and respect he has
But
for
I
each
liked
of the
his
Bat
voice.
family.
My shit. There goes my shit.
Kill the Justice League story is
Man!
fun and nice.
Oh my god. Y'all got me smiling about this game because I really loved Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I really think a lot of people shitted on it. It never should have got the shit that it got. The story about the Justice League being evil is fire. Fine. It's just the way that they capitalized at the end. After the game was done, it was stale. And the missions were the same. I can talk about the bad in Suicide Squad because I enjoyed the game and I loved it. This is the shit that made me mad about this game. The story was good. The music was good. Oh,
But there's one very big bat-shaped problem hanging over, ready to
No.
perform an inverted
No,
takedown.
no,
This game
no.
takes place in the Batman Arkham universe for literally no reason other than marketing. The game begins in Arkham Asylum. Yeah, it took them literally 5 seconds to break canon. Gotta be a new record. At least there's a
Ow!
cute reference
No!
to the Arkham
See, and I know why he said that. He said it took them 5 seconds because it's fucking Deadshot. Deadshot's a black guy. I mean, what's wrong with that? Have we ever seen Deadshot unmasked in the Arkham universe? I can't even remember. And if we did, it was probably in Arkham Origins. And Arkham Origins is kind of not even canon because it was on fucking Xbox, right? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But I really hate that fact about people saying it's not even canon because Deadshot's black. Watch the video.
Blue meme. The Earth is getting invaded by Brainiac, who has already defeated and brainwashed the Justice League. So Amanda Waller uses this opportunity to finally put together her Task Force X idea after like 10 years, persuading Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, Harley Quinn, and King Shark with a micro-explosive in their head to go and kill the Justice League. This game's story isn't meant to be taken too seriously. It's genuinely one of the funniest games of recent memory.
Yeah, this story was funny. Oh fuck, it's Superman.
The Flash? You might as well post him the bullet.
Real shit. Did you get him?
Did you get him?
I love this game. Oh, shouldn't have done that, Shark. Superman.
Kick your ass.
He'll kick your ass.
Wonder Woman, look, here's his thumb. It just came off, I swear.
Step on me next.
Going to hell when you went.
Boom. Really? You might as well just smell the bullet.
And the evil Justice League
I
are a
love
lot
this
of fun,
game.
especially the Flash and Batman. The first 2 hours are honestly fantastic and made me think I'd like this game the first time I played it. But the thing is, they made it canon to the Arkhamverse, which barely makes sense, and you generally wouldn't be able to tell if it wasn't for the aesthetic and certain music cues. The story completely falls apart in the second half. Batman is Brainiac's tactician throughout the game, and it's generally very cool. You'll be roaming around the city and just see him watching you like you yourself.
Yeah,
did
that's
in the
just
old
fire.
game. And of course the Batman Museum section is perfect. But once you actually go to fight him, it all falls apart. One, this boss takes literally 5 seconds, and it's just a generic shoot big thing. But the thing that actually kind of bothered me...
Okay. Batman's boss fight was kind of titty. But what else can you do for Batman? He's a literal dude. So I like the fact that he used the fear toxin because now it makes sense. We're hallucinating and we are fighting Batman, probably roaming around, jumping down, trying to get us, but we're getting him off point, shooting him with the bullets. I think that's a good point. That's what really bothered me with that part. Maybe they could have not used the fear toxin and it would have been better, but the fear toxin was a good idea for me.
He says,
I am vengeance.
that's not just something Batman says. That line does mean something. It represents Batman conquering his fear. It represents his
does
strength to
mean
keep going.
something.
He's not afraid. He
But
is
he's-
fear. He is the knight.
It's not
He is
fucking
Batman.
Batman.
If this wasn't meant to be Arkham, I think it would have been received
It's
so
not
much better.
Batman.
But this is Arkham Batman. This is my Batman. The Batman that made me fall in love with the character and superheroes in general. Then literally right after that, he is literally taken out back and shot dead. This whole section
No.
kind of made me feel
No. Y'all aren't hearing it. Y'all aren't hearing the progress that Harley Quinn has made with that. Do you hear the laughing in the back? Yeah, Harley Quinn. This is the Harley Quinn from the Arkham universe. She didn't like Batman at all. She was brainwashed by the Joker. This is not the Harley Quinn that was in the Bat family or the Injustice or none of that shit. This is Harley Quinn that did not like the Batman. You socked the bitch when she did a cartwheel to you. Did you not? That's why I kind of like that part. And when she shot Batman, it felt like a release. It felt like she now has cleansed and he's out of her life. It's not good that he's out of her life, but he is. And now she can grow and move forward because now she don't have the Joker. She don't have Batman. And that may have not been, that wasn't even the real Batman. So why are y'all upset about that shit? That's not the real Batman. The laughing in the back, that's her dropping that psycho personality and her moving on because she has friends now. She's able to figure out, you know what? Not everything's bad. I have these friends. Maybe I can be a hero. I'm saving the world right now. I just killed Batman, one of my greatest enemies, because I'm a supervillain. Shit like that. It just kind of makes me mad the way that they portrayed the death of Batman. Look, I was upset too that he got shot in the head. But I understand the sentimental fact of Harley Quinn moving the fuck on.
Dirty. But I do like more of the story than I dislike. But the parts I dislike absolutely kill it for me. And I know many people agree with me. I don't know how they thought people would react to this. Before you say, I know the Justice League are clones, and it is foreshadowed in the main story. I'm not going to pretend that it was the writers pressing the panic button. But it does still feel so dirty, with everything down to the music.
Like,
and then
they
being
were
doesn't
clones.
change things like the off-screen death of Bold Robin. And the budget tanks so much by the end that there's no satisfying return.
True.
So I'm just left feeling empty. But yeah, I went on way too long.
But we
about
don't
one
really know
topic.
he was
Let's get
dead.
back to being positive by talking about the cast, who are amazing. Starting with my favorite character, Captain Boomerang, who was played by Daniel Lapine. He's perfect and by far the funniest, especially in his scenes with the Flash, played by Scott Porter, who you may know as the main animated voice of Star-Lord, as well as in Marvel Rivals. I want a Flash game so bad with him as the voice. He was spot on. And of course, Tara Strong, who you probably know, but if you don't, just turn on Cartoon Network and you will hear her within the first 30 seconds. Brainiac is voiced by Jason Isaacs, of all people, and of course the great Kevin Conroy, who kills it as Batman, as always. This is probably the hardest category for me to declare the winner, but I'll say last place is Kill the Justice League, because of the lack of unique areas and levels. The whole game is just multiplayer objectives over and over, and the fact that the story just falls apart halfway through is kind of souring the whole thing.
A lot of people have their
Second
own
place is
opinions.
Gotham Knights, and first place is Marvel's Avengers. Marvel's Avengers is developed by Crystal Dynamics, who are the developers for Tomb Raider, and you can feel it. Avengers is just a slightly less polished version. So the things about the movement feel so imprecise. Like my character was about to fall through the floor, mainly with the walking characters. The flying characters on the other hand feel fantastic. Each Avenger has their own movement ability to get around, with Iron Man and Thor obviously flying. Captain America has a wall run and double jump, the Hulk has a super jump and wall grabs, and Black Widow and Miss Marvel have grapple points. The combat is pretty basic but fun. It's a usual mix of light and heavy attacks, mixing attacks to break shields or get yourself in the air. Each character also has their own special abilities on cooldown along with instinct abilities, which is a usable resource you have to manage that is for things like Iron Man's repulsors, Captain America's block, you get it. There's a good variety of enemies, but the game doesn't really show off a lot of them. Most of the time you're just fighting generic
just
game
robots.
over and
That's
over.
what I'm
But
saying.
overall, the gameplay loop is fun. Gotham Knights got a lot of criticism when it first released, with people who have no idea how to play the game.
how
so
to
that's
play the
game's
game,
fault. The game has a free flow battle system similar to Arkham, but instead of building combos to get special moves, you're building up a momentum bar that lets you use your special abilities. And timing your button presses makes you build momentum faster to use your abilities more often. Basically like the critical strikes in Arkham. But the thing is, almost every review I've seen that's negative about the combat never utilizes momentum abilities properly. For example, there's the brute or the fast enemies, and in reviews, the footage always just has them taking them down in the slowest and least interesting way possible. And that's the way the game tutorializes it right at the beginning, which is why I slightly blame the game, but not really, because it doesn't properly tutorialize momentum abilities and just has it written down what each can help you with. A lot of the early criticism was pretty bad faith in general. To be fair, I wouldn't call it a good battle system. I just wanted to clear that misconception up. But the movement in Gotham Knights is just awful. It's like you're on a tightrope
it's
at
like
all
kind of
times.
slow.
Even just turning around is a nightmare. Your character just gets stuck on nothing, and it was somehow worse when it came out. You also have the usual Batman grapple and bat cycle, but once you finish each of the character's respective mission chain, you unlock a special movement ability, and some of these are just so random. Batgirl's is the best. She gets the classic Batman glide, but Nightwing gets a Fortnite glider, and Red Hood, who in this universe got mystic powers from the Lazarus Pit, jumps on farts in the air, and Robin uses the Watchtower's teleporter he hacked into. These are fine, but the movement can be kinda slow. You can fast travel, but those missions are annoying in their own right. Kill the Justice League's gameplay is really solid. I love speed in games, and this game delivers. Most of the time you'll be shooting, but your shields don't recharge automatically, so you have to harvest them from enemies with melee attacks, which is super satisfying. There's also mayhem moves that go on cooldown that are devastating. Each of their characters has their own movement ability, which changes the way you see the world. They all have a wall run to get up high, but everything else is completely unique. Deadshot can fly around with his jetpack, but has low fuel, so you have to balance being in the air and using his afterburners. And touching the ground or a wall to recharge it. Shark has a crazy
movement
super jump,
was
which is my least favorite, to be
fantastic.
honest.
What?
And Harley uses stolen Batman gadgets to swing around. Boomerang
That was
uses
my least
stolen Speed
favorite.
Force
Harley
tech to
Quinn's
speed
joint.
around everywhere. And if I can say one positive thing about this game, is that the gameplay and combat is super fun, and that's why it gets the win. The boss fights in Avengers aren't very good. During the story, you'll come up against a few, and they're a bit better during it, because of the cinematic-ness of them. But during the actual endgame, they're so repetitive. Just a health bar you hit till they die, with not much differences between them. The Modok battle is probably my favorite, probably because you only fight him once, unless he's in some raid I don't know about. But overall, these bosses aren't that interesting.
I just blew in the
Taskmaster
mic.
is slightly interesting, because he uses your
To get all
abilities
his
against
ass
you,
out
but
of the
that's
way.
basically it. And then there's the mech bosses. These are super boring, even the first time.
the
But
mech
at least
bosses
each
were
character's type
shit.
has a different way of fighting them. them. Gotham Knights is basically in the same boat. During the main story, you fight only 2 bosses, and they're both at the very end. A big problem I had with this game is the lack of villains. It's meant to be Gotham in chaos after Batman's death, but
and there wasn't
like
a lot of
major
villains.
villains outside of the story, being Clayface, Mr. Freeze, and Harley Quinn. These are less punch till dead than Avengers, and the set pieces are pretty amazing, especially with Freeze and Clayface. But if you do the end game, you'll end up fighting these guys over and over, and they kinda lose their glamour. Then lastly, with Kill the Justice League, being at the top of the pack when it comes to gameplay, the bosses were the main selling point of the game, and it mostly delivers, especially with the Flash. There's a huge sense of
Flash was
when
good.
it comes to
The
taking
Flash
down the
was
leaguers.
good.
Each boss
So
is
was
well
Superman.
built up. The game really shows you how much more powerful they are than you. But to be honest, the fights are all just a little bit too easy. But the dialogue during the actual fights are super fun, and make up for it a little. But of course, the worst boss in the game is Batman. Batman has great sections like the Batman Museum, as I mentioned before.
Because he's
Later,
the
when you find the
fucking
Batcave, they do the same
person.
gimmick, except it's much longer and doesn't hit nearly as hard. Then the actual boss is a giant nightmare Batman that goes down quicker than it took me to read this sentence. This game also has the problem of fighting the same bosses over and over and over, with the various brainiacs being repeats of the Justice League battles. But I'd say one truly bad battle out of 4 isn't too bad. These are a lot of fun and the highlights of the game, but I think Gotham Knights bosses are slightly more mechanically interesting. So I'm gonna give the win to Gotham Knights, but Kill the Justice League is second.
Yep.
Marvel's Avengers is kind of baby's first looter shooter. Your characters all
I'm about to
obviously
say, give
level
that
up
second
to get new
place.
skills and
Real shit.
abilities. And what's cool is that later trees you get to choose between multiple skills to build up your playstyle. But the actual gear is ultra basic. There aren't really any meaningful enemy weaknesses. So elements tied to gear aren't
The
super
elements was
noticeable,
like,
except for things like pin particles that shrink enemies. There's other gear stats, like you take less damage from this element, or you make health drop more often, but it's mostly just pick the higher number until max power level. But even then, you don't really have to think about what you equip.
That's very
much.
true.
Gotham Knights is the
Just
same
pick
in this
what you
aspect,
want
except the
until you
elements
don't
are way
want
more
whatever you don't
Lightning
want.
gear, for example,
It was
is
kinda-
a must, especially on someone like Red Hood or Robin, since it disables guns and certain attacks and spreads across enemies. It's just amazing. Gotham Knights is also good in the way that gear actually changes your character's appearance with different.
Okay, see, that's... Well, okay, see, there's not really nothing crazy to say right here. But I enjoyed... The one system that I enjoyed the most was probably Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Yeah. Looking back at it, because I did like Gotham Knights 1 too, and also I liked the costumes that they had in it. But the way that Gotham Knights was set up, it was also the same as Marvel's. You didn't really have to upgrade. Well, you did have to upgrade, but you didn't really have to change like your element abilities, because like the elements weren't really that much different in the game. Some of them shocked them, the others poisoned, the others set them on fire. But that's the same thing with Marvel Rivals, Marvel Avengers. It's the same type of gameplay for real. I'm over here fried repeating words. And then Suicide Squad, they had the gun system. Each gun did different type of abilities, and so did the grenades. And if you did certain type of kits, the kits would do random shit, like the fear toxin one for Scarecrow. It would start like making gas explode all over the place. You had multiple grenades. It would do like a bounce grenade. Oh my gosh, that was fire. That's what I enjoyed about Suicide Squad. Compared to the other ones, the abilities was not the abilities. The gear system was a lot better.
And they even added extra rarities to hunt for with the second Heroic Assault update. And you actually have to think about your loadout before fighting raid bosses, which I can't say for any of the other games. There's also the mod system for an extra layer customization. It gets better and better the more you play, which is how gear should be. You also have a skill tree here, and every character shares a level, so you don't have to grind each. The gear in Kill the Justice League feels kind of pointless. You're not working towards anything. I went straight from the story to one of the last endgame areas and I had zero problem. Enemies seem to scale with you, so you're not really building to anything. You're just getting more crap. The only thing you really want to go for is the infamy sets, which do have interesting things to it, but it all feels so pointless. You just get stuff to get stuff. No interesting bosses to fight or anything. It's just play the same missions over and over to
You
get
know,
the
I
same
can
loot
get
over
that.
and over with
I
no
can get
real
that.
progression.
Because
You
like
don't feel
after
more
a
powerful,
while
you just
with the
play more.
grenades
It's
and
just
shit,
boring.
you start to get the
So
same
first
type of
place
stuff.
goes to Gotham Knights.
But I enjoyed
So we talked
Suicide
about
Squad's Kill
progression
the
and gear.
Justice
So
League's
what about what
abilities.
you're doing to get it? Marvel's Avengers
Marvel,
is more mission-based compared to the
Marvel,
other two
I
open
keep
worlds,
trying to say
with
Marvel
a ton of
Rivals.
variation in its
Gotham
missions. And
Knights,
it's obvious
looking
what
back,
you
because
get
I
for what
forgot
missions you
about the
do
mods
and
that
what
they
missions
had.
you should do
So the
next.
mods definitely
First,
made
there's
the gear
Drop Zone,
system a
which
lot
are
better.
single objective jump-in missions that only take a few minutes to complete. These are good for like event challenges and stuff. War zones, which are the main multi-phase missions with side objectives and decent loot. Vaults, which are kind of mini raids with huge maps with a ton of extra chests where you need a special item to open. Hives, which are like the long power modes, and
Yeah.
so much more like villain sectors and character missions. There's a lot to do in this game, and it's all fun. Gotham Knights has a surprising amount of endgame content. First,
They
there's the
did have a
random
lot of
crimes,
stuff
which
to
I
do,
love.
but the
During
enemies
nights, you
were the
gather
same.
clues, and depending
That's
on
the
the amount you
downside
gather,
of
the
it.
more crimes will appear on your map the next night.
And
It's
I
really
did like
fun and
that.
gets you into the vigilante
I did like
roleplay.
that.
Harder and harder
The
types start to
vigilante
spawn as you
roleplay
play
was
the
good.
story, and the harder ones obviously get you better loot. Then there's Heroic Assault, which is a tower mode where you go through floor after floor doing the same shit over and over. This is fun at first, especially if you can get 4 people playing, but the last levels are so hard and not in a fun way, especially that annoying ass fucking payload mission. If you played the game, you know what I'm talking about. Second Hero Assault is a lot better, because it's a lot shorter and you get much more interesting loot, and you get to replay all the bosses as pairs. And then there's the raid variations of all the bosses in the game. These are fine, just a bit of fun for people who want it, not
Just people
too
who want
amazing
it,
rewards.
yeah.
Then there's Kill the Justice League. I've already bitched about this one's endgame, so I'll keep it short. It's just the same shit over and over and over. The loot doesn't matter, and you just refight the same bosses you already fought. Not interested. Boring. Who cares? Moving on. If there's one thing I can say about the art style of Marvel's Avengers,
Oh my
it's generic.
gosh.
It looks good, don't get me wrong.
Moving on.
I love the lighting
Boo.
and how everything
Like, I
shines
get
to
it.
But a lot
I
of
get
it
it,
is
bro.
just
I get it.
uninteresting. The characters and environments all look like MCU lights.
Just hearing it,
Like they're
from
trying to
somebody
capture
else's
the
perspective
MCU
is just
without copying
crazy
it
all
one
the
to one.
time.
The faces especially look like
People
the Disney
shit
World
on
actors for the
Suicide Squad
Avengers.
Kill the
And
Justice
environments
League.
have that MCU flatness. But the plainness of the level slightly helps in one aspect, and that's just because of how much visual diarrhea is on the screen at all times. If the maps were any more interesting, I think the game might actually be unplayable. And as for
Yeah.
the performance, when this game came out, I was on PS4, and every
And it was
2020
slow.
game just ran like shit on PS4. So I don't really have a fair opinion
Exactly.
on the game at launch. So I did some research, and it seems to have had pretty bad frame time and a lot of stutters. But nowadays the game runs perfectly. Personally, I've had
'Cause it's on
zero
PS5.
issues, even while recording on the same computer. I've had more experience with Gotham Knights. I was day one with this game on PC, and it ran like absolute poop. It ran at a consistent 40 frames on PC. And on console, they cancelled the promised PS4 and Xbox One's versions, but then even the PS5 and Xbox Series versions ran at only 30
Yeah,
FPS. And apparently
they
still
did.
is to this day, even with the Pro consoles. That mixed with
Still.
the horrible
Yeah, they
movement
shoulda
made this
did
game
60
feel
FPS.
just awful, with not that good graphics to make it worth it. Nowadays, it runs flawlessly on my system at least. The world itself is quite beautiful and stylized though. The way they play with colors is phenomenal.
Yeah,
All
the
around
colors were nice.
skyscrapers are fog, illuminated by neon lights, and the sky has a million different colors and weather variations, like the beautiful red sky right out of the animated series. The streets
Yeah.
below are horrible, dirty, and wet, the ground only being lit by the warm street lamps. The architecture is also beautiful.
It looks
You can
like
tell this game is
Gotham,
made
yeah.
by WB Montreal.
It
because
looks
when
like
they
Gotham.
do Batman, they always have a focus on the city of Gotham itself, the history of the buildings and the world, and you can feel it throughout. The Court of Owls sections also stand out. They go straight out of the page. If there's one thing in Kill the Justice League that can tell you Rocksteady made it, it's the world. It's beautiful. It's just
Yeah.
another thing that gaslights you into thinking this game might be good. The beautiful golden Art Deco city, shadowed by the oppressive skull of Brainiac's ship, is a worthy successor to Arkham
looked
Knight's
good.
world. I see a lot of people say that this game has bad graphics, but I honestly completely disagree. This game's visuals are amazing. It's
It
kinda
looks
just
really
ruined by
good.
all the particle effects and chaos
Yeah.
on screen at all times.
There
And
is
you
a
can
lot of
barely see
effects.
anything behind the explosions, colors, and slots or whatever
That's
random
true.
shit is happening. And it's held
That's
back
true.
even more by the
I
performance.
took off
When
the
not
numbers.
recording, it ran around
I don't do
55
the
to 50
numbers.
FPS at almost
I took
the lowest
those off.
settings, while out of combat on a 3070.
I
While
just do
in
the
combat,
shots
sometimes
and
went down
everything
to
that
40.
happens
While
around.
recording it was worse, obviously, but that's not exactly fair. So I'm going to give this to Gotham Knights for its creative colors and world building, an amazing adaptation of comic book locations, but Kill the Justice League is second. Marvel's Avengers post-launch started rocky to say the least.
Yeah.
The first major update introduced a new hub, a new mission type with the Tachyon Rifts, and a new character, Kate Bishop. Though the new playable character was great and became my main, people felt that they were doubling down on the parts of the game that
Yeah, they
people
did.
didn't really like. The same can be said for the next few
They
months.
did.
With only a few new
Because
mission
She-Hulk
types
was
like
supposed to come out in this
flashbacks,
game,
boring
and so
events
was
like the
Captain
Red
Marvel.
Room were added, along with a ton of overpriced and ugly skins. The second
Yeah.
story expansion
A lot of
also
the skins
disappointed,
weren't
with
too
it being
good.
another Hawkeye, with
It
the
was the
same
same
boring
one.
missions, but a whole new future wasteland zone. But then it started to get good with the third story expansion, War
Black
for
Panther,
Wakanda,
yeah.
with actual interesting
I enjoyed
missions,
that.
new enemies and bosses.
The Black Panther
Very
one
few
was
people
my
came back to
favorite.
play it, though. It was too late at this point. Everyone had moved on. Not
Yeah.
even releasing Spider-Man could save it. They continued updating the game with new balance changes and adding new 4-player raids that required max level, and when you die,
Yep.
you're dead. Brand new bosses and a few new characters like Bucky and Jane Foster. The game was actually in
Oh,
a good
yeah,
state,
Jane
but that's me
Foster.
talking in retrospect because I stopped
Forgot she
playing
was
at this
in it.
point too. So the game was inevitably discontinued and delisted, with one last balance update, and all the cosmetics being made free. I already talked about every post-launch update for Gotham Knights in the endgame section, so I'll be
Yeah, I
brief.
do
The first
remember
update,
that.
just over a month after launch, added Heroic Assault, which is a difficult tower mode where you face off against Starro.
The tower,
and the Showdown
yeah,
mode,
that
which
was the
allowed you to
Starro
replay
one.
raid versions of the
The
various
Starro
bosses
one
in
was
the
cool.
game.
I
This update
enjoyed
also
the
made it so you
Starro
can
one
stealth
better.
take down any enemy no matter their health. Only the OGs remember doing those fucking bomb missions when you couldn't
Where
stealth
you
take
couldn't
down
stealth
anyone. It was
everybody?
brutal.
Yeah,
The
that
second
shit
content
was
update
hard.
added the Kelvin
Shit was
instance, which was
annoying.
half the size of the first Heroic Assault, and has you going through floor after floor, then eventually fighting the boss fights in pairs. Also introduced Mythic gear. And then there's Kill the Justice League. This is how you don't save a game. All things considered, this game was pretty good. The story
It
was
was
fun and the
pretty
gameplay
good.
was solid. A good little 8-hour game, but it just kept getting worse. The first update added a weird Elseworld version of the Joker, which sounds interesting. The Joker long dead in this world. Harley at one point dedicated her life to him. How will these characters react? Answer, they don't. There's one cutscene where he's introduced, then it's just back to grinding. And of course, characters just take so long to unlock.
I
But for
get
the
that,
people who
because
have
I
played
wish
them,
that there
a
was
couple
more
years, a lot of fun.
cutscenes.
So I'll give it that. The update also added a Joker-themed reskin for Metropolis, which is honestly less interesting than the regular map. Then the next few months were just reskins and weapons, until July where they added Mrs. Freeze? This is by far the weirdest character choice
I
ever.
enjoyed her
One
the
is
most.
yet another
I
Batman
enjoyed her
focused
the
character.
most.
And two of all characters are
They were going
gender
off of a
swap Mr.
nostalgia
Freeze.
one.
Why
A
not
nostalgia
just add someone
bait.
that people would actually want to play as, like, Killer Frost? The third
Yeah.
character added was Zoe Lawton, which I don't mind too much. There could have been something interesting story-wise here, like how Deadshot is desperate to see his daughter and make things right with her, but also hates the idea of her in danger and helping them. But like all the characters, they barely touch on that, like they barely touch on anything interesting. Then there's also the fact that this is yet another unknown character.
I wish
no one's
I
gonna
would've
come
seen
back
that.
for Deadshot's daughter. She's a character you add later. I know all these characters
Yeah.
were planned beforehand, and that's
Exactly.
kind of the problem. Truthfully,
And
it would
that's
be a
the
good idea to have
thing.
the first 3 characters be
Because they were
biblically
gonna
accurate
add
examples.
Killer Frost
Gender
and
swap Mr. Freeze
Killer
and
Croc.
Deadshot's daughter. The last character they added is a character that people would actually want to play as
Deadshot.
Who
Oh,
kills a bunch
Deathstroke.
of
I always
Brainiacs
say
off screen
Deadshot.
because Rocksteady ran out of money. Just also uninteresting. The whole game was just play the same missions to get boring guns to fight the same bosses to unlock boring characters. And they're surprised no one played it. Imagine they added actually
I didn't play the
interesting characters,
last
like I
season.
said before with Killer Frost.
Yeah.
Or imagine
Or
Braun
Killer
Tiger,
Croc.
Dr. Light, Count Vertigo, El Diablo,
Man,
Killer Croc,
I'm
Cheetah,
telling
Black
you.
Manta, Bloodsport,
Cheetah, like,
Peacemaker,
come on
Reverse
now,
Flash,
they're saying
Enchantress,
everybody.
like anyone.
Anybody.
Even traditionally bad characters would
Like,
have been better, like Red Hood or
anybody.
Arsenal. Just anything other than fucking Mrs. Freeze.
Like, they coulda
Avengers
added
wins, Gotham
anybody.
Knights second. A big part of these games is the multiplayer. Sadly, none are in a good state. Marvel's Avengers is long delisted, so it's almost impossible to get, especially on PC. On consoles, you can just buy the game pre-owned, and it'll
Yeah.
work without issues. But on PC, which is my platform of choice, you have to look for keys on shady websites, which are not infinite and not reusable. So they'll just get rarer and rarer as the years go on. So it'll be pretty hard to get all your friends set up. Matchmaking with randoms is also very unlikely, especially because the game lacks crossplay. But the AI
Damn.
teammates are good enough. You can choose exactly which characters you want to join, and they don't really shadow you too much. They go off and even do objectives on their own. But the super endgame raids you can't do solo, so they are basically unplayable. But from what I remember, they weren't that good anyway, so... Gotham Knights, on the other hand, is also unlikely to find random players.
That's good.
because
I
most of the
mean,
people
like,
have
that's a
completed the game and
downside.
just
It
moved on.
sucks.
But the game is still available to buy and goes on sale pretty often. And is also available on both Xbox Game Pass
Game's not
and
bad,
PS
though.
Plus,
I would
last checked,
probably
with
get
full
that
crossplay,
over
so it's
the
super
3.
easy to get a group of friends in to play.
I would
Except
get
the story
Gotham
is
Knights
only
over the 3.
2-player, while the end game is 4-player. So I've always just stuck with 2, because none of my friends have the patience to go through the game on their own. But if you have 3 others already into the game, you can all play the end game.
Yeah.
It'll make it way less painful too. But I've only ever managed to get a full group of 4 people once, and I've been playing since the day it came out. Suicide
Damn.
Squad was dead on arrival. Basically, no one played the end game, especially
very
today.
true.
On rare occasions, you might find one other person to play with, but definitely not a group of 4. The
Yeah.
AI teammates that replace them can't die, but you don't really notice them doing anything since the battles are so large scale. So the multiplayer winner is Gotham Knights. Second place is Kill the Justice League, just because you're unable to buy Avengers
Yeah.
anymore. If this was based on the past, then
This
Avengers
was a
would
good
definitely
video.
win. Marvel's Avengers monetization was just awful when the game came out. Every character had a battle pass, including a premium track, plus brutally expensive and ugly bloat skins. And the main outfits were were specifically designed to be generic, just to make you want to buy skins. But as time went by, they kept changing things, like removing the paid battle pass, to removing it altogether, to making more skins available to earn in-game. And eventually with the final update, it just gave you every skin for free, which kind of screws over the people who actually paid extra money.
The people that actually paid money.
People still playing
and I paid some money on that game. I paid a little bit of money on that game, so it just sucks, because how you going to make everything free now? But hey, the game's pretty good. You can't even really buy it.
The launch monetization was just unforgivable. Gotham Knights is not a live service game. A lot of people have a theory that the game was meant to be, but they changed course when Marvel's Avengers flopped. But either way, this is a game you buy, then you have. No additional
purchases, seemed like it.
Except the deluxe edition upgrade, which gives you Batman Beyond inspired suits, and these suits by the legendary Jim Lee, most known for his art on Batman Hush. Plus a few extra unique emotes and colors for your suits. The deluxe upgrade is a little expensive though. When bought on its own, it's like an extra 32 Australian dollars, which is way too expensive.
Yeah, that's
it goes
crazy.
On sale a lot.
Extra $32?
Oh boy. The monetization is just brutal. First, let's talk about the unlockable characters. $10 American for one character, while every other game here has them for free. Wait, you can unlock the characters for free, you just have to grind the same missions for
That's
hours.
What I'm saying, all you gotta do is just unlock them.
Which
I did.
To make you want to pay. Then
I did
the
that.
Battle Pass. I'll give it credit, because there's no FOMO involved. If you buy the Battle Pass, you keep it. Except the Battle Pass is 1, overpriced, and 2, has the ugliest cosmetics. Even the store cosmetics are ugly as hell. Some even made me
some of them are good.
Laughing. The only ones I kinda like are the Flashback Arkham skins, but even some of them are ugly. The point goes to Avengers. Second place is Gotham Knights. Goddamn, Kill the Justice League is something else. So counting up all the points, in last place we have Kill the Justice League. Who would have figured? Then the runner-up is Marvel's Avengers.
Who would have figured?
That just leaves Gotham Knights as number 1.
I was
Honestly,
so
I'm not surprised.
hopeful in the beginning. Who would have figured?
Not being live service and having a lot of genuine care put in. When it came out, I predicted that eventually it would be considered a misunderstood masterpiece, like Arkham Origins or even Knight, and I can already see that happening online. It got a good amount of deserved criticism, but a lot of undeserved bashing. I enjoyed making this video a lot. It actually reignited my love for the Avengers game. I've actually been playing that on my own, not for the video. So more of the story is, enjoy what you enjoy, and don't let anyone not let you enjoy things. And anyone want to play Avengers with me? My DMs and Discord are public.
That was a good video. That was a good video. Well, thanks so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, drop a like and subscribe. I enjoyed the video, but right now I'm upset because my stream just gets disconnected. But look at that. It just reconnected. You love to see that. Anyways, everybody stay safe out there, and y'all take care. I will see y'all in the next video. Be easy. Peace.